Welcome back to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lantz Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, go ahead and tell the folks about the people that sponsor this podcast.
We've been away for a couple episodes, Lance, with the holidays and all. So if people have forgotten, the Wanna Parlay podcast is indeed brought to you by the good people of Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay, where every week people are turning in $2 into $2,000 of crispy cold cash. It is good to be good around here. We just concluded the final week of Wanna Parlay in 2024. A lot of money, a lot of games, a lot of money lying in pockets right now of all the men and women of Wanna Parlay. Tons of special shout outs to hand out today as we get caught up with the last couple weeks. Let's start with the pick'ems, Lance. Pick 7, Snipe King, $777. Good to be good, pal. Don D 333, one of the great nicknames. As I wrote it down, it didn't look as good as I read it aloud. That is all time. Don D 333 also won on Saturday. That's $777 for him. Also worth mentioning, a guy who's really starting to make a lot of money around here, Long Legs, nets 700 with a second place finish on Saturday night. Taking you to the pick 5, one Mad Raider, not one Man Raider. I apologize. 250 going to one Mad Raider. The pick 4, Negan, 65, wins $200. The Parlay Royale, Lance. Look who it is. Our boy Dial Picks wins another grand, which officially takes him over the 20K mark at Wanna Parlay. Ladies and gentlemen, a quick round of applause. Our first Hall of Famer. The guy's still in season. We're breaking precedent to allow him, but he is now officially in the Hall of Fame, the untouched, unknown 20K club. Dial Picks, we'll get you back on the show shortly. Can't fucking wait, man. The main event, friend of the podcast, friend of Wanna Parlay, Jack Flexen, a.k.a. Jack Martin, fellow Trojan, good man, wins his first, he's been there since the beginning, but he wins his first 2K prize this week. So good to be good. We got Jack Martin coming on the show a little later to talk just how he pulled that off. VIP contest. That wraps on Christmas Day while we've been away. Congratulations to Oso Rated R. 196.85 multiplier to take that thing home. He got that up there in the last week and it hung on all the way to the finish. This is the 4th time one has ever offered the VIP contest. They've just gotten cooler and cooler. It started in Brazil, a couple times at Arrowhead in Kansas City, mixing it up with Taylor Swift at Chiefs games, and now far and away the coolest thing they've offered to date. A little trip to Chicago, Wrigleyville to go see the NHL Winter Classic and the Blackhawks on New Year's Eve day. Take that into New Year's Eve night over there at Little Joe's. Oso Rated R, you got it made, pal. This guy, for people that don't understand what he just quite won, he's currently touching down in Chicago right now as we speak. Him and a buddy, all expenses paid. They traveled there, the hotel they're staying at tonight and tomorrow night. A New Year's experience unlike any other. And they're going to be putting their feet up tomorrow in Wrigleyville at the Winter Classic in the Wanna Suite. So it's not going to be so cold. You're going to have the heaters on the inside, some beers, some food. Life is pretty good around there. Congrats to Oso Rated R and to all the winners since we've been away. Congratulations. I wish I could count myself amongst you, but alas, I cannot.
Yep. Nope. Some things have changed in this world, but one of the things that not is us. We haven't changed. All I do is lose, man. It hurts. It hurts, Jack. I can't figure it out. I can't get parlays. Parlays are tough. I think I'm just betting in the wrong categories because I'm like, I get 4 out of 6, 3 out of 7. Yeah. Like, you're always, it's tough.
There's a touch and a feel and a magic to this parlay game. When you start overanalyzing, you go 60%. And even then when you got it made in the shade and you're waiting on the last one of a 5-legger, I mean, just fuck. There's no points for going 4-1 around here. No. You got to clean it up.
I mean, there's so many times, Jack, I go in there and I'm like, all right, let me just set like a little one, like small little multiplier, just get on the board, get some money, $2 parlay, why not make? And it's just like, just swing and a miss. It's just 2 for 3, 3 for 4. It's tough. It's tough out here.
Speaking about our problems, Lance, I'm going to text Jack really quick and give him a 5-minute warning on this interview. You want to hit your accountability sesh really quick, and then I'll come back and hit mine.
Yeah. Accountability sesh. So this kind of just lays out over the past couple of days. Because we've been on, we've been off. But right now, my accountability hour was 6 and 5. I had Notre Dame -7 against Indiana. That was locks. I was on Ohio State -7.5 against Tennessee. I was on the opposite of multiple people. They thought I was delusional. They thought SEC ball was that much better. I said, no, give me the Ohio State. Jack told me Florida Tulane, and once he spelled that out to me, I had to put a cosign on it. I had to say, you know what, that's just a great freaking bet. And hey, that was a winner. Chargers -2.5 against the Broncos. Big divisional game. People telling me, Bo Nix this, Bo Nix that. Broncos defense this. No, Chargers -2.5. They're going to the playoffs. Broncos are scared. They're worried. I don't think they make it to the playoffs, Jack, but we'll talk about that later. Panthers +5 versus Cardinals. That was like week 16 football. Panthers win. What did I say? Kyler Murray does not want anything to do with the cold. Lions -6.5 when they played the Bears. Bears are just in a fucking... They're crash landing. It's over for them. That's just tough. Like it really hurts. Like I was
You're
really...
in the Air Force. Descent.
Yeah, like fucking... And it's brutal because they like won. They were 4-2. We've talked enough about Caleb Williams. Honestly, he doesn't even deserve this much attention anymore. See you next season, buddy. And then here come my losses. SMU +8.5. Jack, that was awful. That was brutal. I don't even know. That hurt. That hurt the soul. And the toughest part is how, man, we went in about how Aller wasn't even the best quarterback in that game. He was that was brutal.
Kevin Jennings.
Yeah, and then Jennings. Tough day. Hey, but hey, shit happens. I mean, Penn State's really good, so it's not too big of a problem. Clemson +12. We're gonna talk about this game a little bit later as part of the preview into Texas Arizona State, but Clemson +12. Yeah, that wasn't happening, folks. That wasn't happening. Titans +3.5. You ever bet in the Titans? Punch yourself in the face because you're a goddamn idiot, just like me. That's what I did. Seahawks +3. This one, this was the Sunday night football game of week 16. I actually ended up flip-flopping. I know I'm horrible. I'm a traitor. I'm a bad person. But once I saw how everything else in my week was going, I was like, I got to get on the other side. This is horrible. And then Eagles -3.5. That's when the Commanders went goat mode on them. So that was a tough loss. I mean, those you just live and you learn. But there's my accountability hour. 6-5. Not terrible. Not terrible, but if we're playing the parlay game, I'm a bum. I lose money. So it's like,
yeah,
that's why I'm like, how should I be? I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, this is a question I ask myself every morning. I'm trying to think, Jack, I gotta bet more like bets that tie together, that make sense together. Like if I'm taking someone's over passing yards, I should take someone else, like his teammates over receiving yards, because that would make sense. Got to try to team these things together, I think. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
I'm not the guy to talk to about the magic recipe. I got into such a bad hole this week. I was all parlay mode over the weekend. And then I probably went like 27-5 and just missed the last leg of like seven separate parlays. I had the Bengals over in every single one of them. And I got the absolute miracle to get that done. I was assured coming into Sunday I was going home with some money. And you just said it, man. If you put the Titans into anything, punch yourself in the face. Boy, was I doing that all day yesterday.
It's so
because I did
brutal.
put the Titans. They just played the Jags 3 weeks ago. It's a divisional game. Have some goddamn pride about yourselves. It's unbelievable.
The Titans have this year, I think, is the worst year or the worst team in maybe NFL history against the spread. I think they were.
A couple of these, I can't even blame you because you were just tailing me. I just gave you bad intel. I put the note down here. It was
Oh, technical difficulties, folks. He's loading in and back. Oh, and he's back. Yep, got you.
Yeah, it was a Merry Christmas all except for one Jack Neuheisel who just couldn't win his absolute life. The picks I suggested go 3-5-1. Georgia Southern never had a chance. That line was running away from him before the game. It felt like the writing was on the wall. It was a bad bet. And it was terrible. Ohio -3 versus Jacksonville State. They had that line covered all day and choke it away. And ended up actually not covering the line because that line went towards Ohio. That was -5 at kick. So I might have gotten some people in some trouble there. Pushes for me. Florida -12.5 versus Tulane. That line was going towards Tulane. We did not spook. We did not get afraid. We doubled down on Thursday. Ends up covering easy. Fun little Gasparilla Bowl there. Notre Dame -7. Way to go. Job well done. We needed to apply all this logic and just use our eyes. Stop trying to invent narratives and Cinderella stories. I worked so hard because I was like, there's just no way this is going to get chalked out. There's no way we're going 4-0 favorites, let alone 4-0 favorites to cover spreads on all these over touchdown spreads. And sure enough, Vegas was right with the fishy lines. I had the other 3. I took all the dogs, so I go dead wrong in all of them. SMU 8-5. Boy, is that a different game if I get to different Kevin Jennings that day. Boy, is that a different game. Defense only gave up 24 points. Thought they played plenty good enough to
I got
win.
Jack in the waiting room. Not to cut you off, but
oh, perfect. No, bring him on. I want to
okay.
talk Jack. Jack,
All right.
enough talking about us losers. Please, for God's sake, please bring him on while I introduce him here. The winner of the main event of this past weekend and fresh new owner of $2,000. Welcome to the party, Jackie Boy.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Dude, doing fantastic. Is your camera on? Am I wrong, Lance? Can you see
I can see his camera. Turn it horizontal, though. Could you get that for us?
Yeah, let me change it.
Jack,
there we go.
For the people that don't know, Jack can legally play in these things because he's no longer legally bound by Wanna Parlay. But Jack was once a proud employee of Wanna Parlay. So this has been a long time coming, this win right
wow,
here.
so this was vengeance. You got your get back.
Yeah, I've been trying to do this. I've been playing ever since week 1, and I finally got the win.
Yes,
dude. It was a thing of beauty. A 7-leg, all NFL, 196-point bomb, closed out Sunday. You beat second place by over 150 points. So you went above and beyond on your parlay there. Way to just a little insurance for you. Lance, have you gotten to peek at all of his parlay?
Oh no, I saw it, and that's one of my questions I want to start off with. Did you not care? Did you not look at the leaderboard? You just said I'm swinging my Johnson like this. I'm throwing a huge parlay, and there was no one close to you. You could have made this so much easier on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, last week or 2 weeks ago, I was in first on Saturday and then got passed, so I didn't want to let that happen
again.
So
okay.
Sure.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, shit, you did a great job knowing you came even close.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I had it under the belt. I was sweating out someone had, after like Sunday night, someone had one that could have beaten me. So I was sweating out his parlay, and then when it missed, we were going crazy as a family. It was fun.
Dude, that's so big, that's what, hey, and that, what are your thoughts about Wanna Parlay and the app about it so far?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, like I said, I always play the contest. The main event's definitely my favorite one. It's super fun watching everyone else's plays, knowing what you kind of have to do to get in first. Even though I like you said, I pretty much ignored it and went for it all this week. But yeah, I'm always doing the max 25 entrants. I'll be back in it this week. Hopefully, win it again back to back.
There we go. That's awesome. I mean, one of my favorite parts about the app is like what you were saying. You got to compare your parlay to another player's parlay, so you could sit there and had a completely different sweat than you would on any other platform. So that's good stuff.
Jack, I remember back in the day us talking about this. You even said the whole point of this thing is for high risk, or low risk, high reward. So the main event, just like you're talking, and to finally pay out the $2,000. Way to fucking go, buddy. Good stuff.
Know. I've gone a few of the hundreds, the 200s, but this is my first time winning the big dog. I want to do it again.
Well, I did a little math on this bad boy because you just won $2,000 on just a $2 investment right there. By the way, you only would have won $393 had you placed that bet anywhere else. So it puts you up $1,607 on any other guy who was smart enough to place the parlay, but dumb enough to not place it at Wanna. But by the way, dude, you're now up 3,315 on the account. I went and did the math. I double checked it with the calculator. I had Lance review the numbers. It's got to be pretty good. That's a nice way to start 2025. $2,000 up right here.
I know. I only deposited 150 a few months ago, and I've just been I took out most of it, but I kept some in to buy more entry tickets. The big pack of 100. That's been my go-to.
So 150 down, up 3,315, and never once again are you going to have to load up this account. You're just playing for house money now. It's just a little piggy bank. Just for the people out there that don't quite understand how good you can have it at Wanna Parlay.
Of course, it's great.
Well, dude, here's a question about your deal over the holiday break, because I was shocked to not see any USC action put down this parlay after USC went and broke some hearts. Did you have any action? Did you make any money on the Trojans on the beatdown of
I didn't. I mean, I learned my lesson betting on them early in the year, but that was a great game. I was stoked to see him win. My friend was at the game in Vegas. I wanted to go. I couldn't convince anyone to come with me, but I mean, yeah, proud of the Trojans for sure, ending the season right.
Dude, you said it though. I spend way too much time around Trojans in general. So this whole year, going into fourth quarters, I was hitting the live bet button and just got smoked on most of them. Just got absolutely smoked.
Yeah, I was kind of used to the heartbreak of USC football, so it was good to see it end like this for sure.
Okay, real quick. I want to just comb through your parlay here real quick. A lot of this was easy. A lot of this was not. I'll say this. You covered 6 of your 7 picks going into Sunday. All you needed coming into Sunday was a little Buffalo magic. They were up 40-0 at one point. So way to go. All your sweat was done on Saturday. But you had
Yeah.
6 legs in one single game, Jack. That would probably had to be the game of the year.
Yeah, I got super lucky. I mean, I don't know if you remember the field goal for the Bengals to win it, the 33-yarder in OT hits the upright, and I still need another Joe Burrow touchdown. So I thought I was toast. And then they get the ball back, luckily, and then they could have kicked it from the 3-yard line, but they were like, screw this kicker. We're just going to go throw it. Yeah. So, I mean, I was probably 0.1% chance to hit it. I turned off the TV, then turned it back on. It was great.
Dude, I'm looking at all these. So first of all, Bo Nix over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Marvin Mims over 29.5 receiving. Marvin Mims anytime TD. Going into that drive halfway through the fourth, none of this has covered yet. And on one beautiful throw, all 3 of those go ahead and cash.
I know. I was feeling good watching it for sure. I was like, let's go. There's life. I didn't know if I was going to get – when the Bengals won the coin toss in OT, I was like, let's go. Here we go. And then I was pretty confused when they punted. The
second they punted, I thought you were absolutely hosed. And then they come down. You get Cade York to miss you the field goal. And this is after, by the way, this game should have been – they did the QB sneak on to end the fourth quarter, which should have ended the game. Then you get the Marvin Mims 4th and 2.
I mean, it was so much luck. It was great to be on the good side of the luck for sure.
Dude, I got shredded over Christmas break. This is one of the few miracles I got is I had the over 48 in this game. So all of a sudden I get 28 points in the fourth just to get this game to overtime. It's 24-24. I have 48.5. Any points are going to win me the game. And all of a sudden we get the Cade York missed field goal and they start talking Broncos only need to tie to win. I was like, this could be the worst beat of my life.
I know. That would have been funny. The tie keeps it under.
Dude, who's ever gotten beat by a tie? It's unbelievable. It shouldn't exist.
I know. Yeah, for sure.
Well, obviously $2,000 richer now, dude. Last question, or 2 more questions. One is, are we going to see you back in 2025? You'll be back on one, I assume.
Oh yeah, I already bought the tickets for this week.
Good to be good. Fantastic. Yeah. And then last one right here is now a guy up 3,315 and most recently up 2K from this weekend. How are you planning on spending the money?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about spending it too much. I just took it out.
You gotta have a big New Year's. No big New Year's plans?
I'll definitely be going out New Year's Eve getting some drinks for the boys with the money. But they were all pretty stoked for me too. They were sweating it with me, so that was pretty fun. We were all Bills fans Sunday, which is rare being a Chiefs fan. It was my first time rooting for them. It was pretty nice though when they're up 30-0 against the Jets.
That's awesome. It feels like the year of Jack coming up here. I did not realize you were a Chiefs fan. Enjoy the 3-peat that's happening inevitably in 5 weeks.
I hope so.
I don't know, man. Outside the Vikings looked pretty good yesterday, but short of that, dude, I don't know who the hell gets in their way.
Yeah, I mean Lamar's going to be tough to beat again this year. I think that'll be our biggest
Lamar, Josh Allen. There'll be a couple guys, but man, those Chiefs, you guys just are the greatest game managing team and roster I've ever seen. They just manage games and they win.
Yeah, it's like haven't scored 30 points yet this year.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome.
Pretty great.
Stuff.
Well, Jack, dude, thank you so much for coming on. We'll have you on again shortly when you're back in the winner's circle, which I'm sure won't take any time at all.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
All right, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, you're the man. We'll talk to you soon.
You're the man.
See you. Thank you.
Laters. Good people.
Fellow Newport Beacher right there.
Really?
One of your people.
He said you said USC, and I could have guessed probably 3 places on the globe he's from. So
yeah, once there.
I give a shit. I'm giving shit.
The vibe, the whole thing. Jackie Martin's good people.
Yeah, he was cool. Cool guy. Good people. And he was happy to be here. He was a happy guy.
Let's get on with our show. We don't need to hear about my accountability anymore. I've done enough of it. The people have watched me bleed enough. Now let's talk shop. We got some big. We're going to be back hopefully on Thursday with a show coming after the new year. We'll recap the college games. So we certainly are going to be talking mostly college today. But Lance had the good idea. We do have a fresh MVP debate now, a brewing after Lamar and Josh Allen absolutely balled over the weekend. So Lance, what are your open thoughts on this? So we got the stats written down.
I mean, my opening thoughts is both of them are having great seasons. You know, I don't want it. The worst part about these debates is that it seems like you're degrading the other player when you're trying to put one above the other. And it's like, dude, these guys are both balling. Good for them. But Josh Allen's MVP. Come on. I mean, he's 13-3. Lamar's 11-5. And if you look at the stats, I will say Lamar's stats look better on paper. But Josh Allen doesn't have the same. I just think Lamar's team's better. And Josh's offensive weapons aren't as good as Lamar's, especially with King Henry. And, so I think he does more for his team, and I think he's more valuable to his team. So I think that makes him the most valuable player. Josh Allen, MVP.
I think ultimately the prediction is going to be right. My question is it right? Because I used to complain about this all the time with the NBA of why doesn't LeBron have 6 MVPs? How does Shaq only have 1 MVP? Like, occasionally we get used to, like, Kobe the same. Occasionally we get sick of gifting guys, especially in back-to-back or sporadic years, because all of a sudden that feels like a new level you've achieved. To win back-to-back MVPs is something else entirely, and you have to then be doubly as good, so we can give it to an inferior candidate. Not the case at all this year. I think you said it, the most important stat on the board here is their record, 13-3 versus the 11-5, because when you pull back these stats, and what your eyes will tell you if you've watched the games this whole season, is both these guys are exactly the same piece to their team. They're the best players on the two of the best teams in the league, and they're the most significantly important pieces of their teams of anyone else that could make that case. Patrick Mahomes would be the only other person, but his stat line just isn't here this year. I honestly think a guy like Pat Mahomes in years past has been overlooked for this because I think wins are the most important stat on this board. But for that reason, I'm going to give Josh Allen the edge over Lamar here at the 13-3 over 11-5. But yeah, as you go through it, Lamar edges him out in passing. Beats him in yards, 39 touchdowns to Josh's 28, only 4 interceptions to Josh's 6. Rushing wise, honestly, not that different. Lamar's rushed for 28 more times than him, but he's up almost 300 yards on him, and yards per carry 6.6 to Josh's 5.2. Difference here, Josh in the red zone as a running back and on third downs is like their weapon, has been unbelievable this year above seemingly all years. And it's in a year where he's been incredibly efficient passing. Obviously, tons of turnovers in year past have been the knock on him. Only 6 picks this year, not a ton of fumbles. 12 rushing touchdowns in the red zone. That's a hell of a deal. And it's not to say that the tush push or the Philly, whatever the hell, the brotherly shove there in Philly isn't impressive, but it's not 4th and 1s. Let's get understand. It's this guy in power football. We're gonna go just buck sweep with pullers and people in front of him. He's just gonna go through body. I mean, it really is impressive. It's the LeBron thing, to keep us on the basketball metaphor, of a guy that looks like an 8th grader playing with 5th graders. Now, to Lamar's point, holy fuck, he is the most unique athlete I've ever seen in my life, and he's a guy I used to compare to Russell Westbrook, where I thought somehow, like, he's always going to get, because he's such a gifted athlete, stats are always going to find him in the course of a regular season. But I don't care about stats if they're not in the context of winning necessarily. So if without the postseason wins, I like to write this off. I used to do the same with Giannis as well. I still kind of hold Russell there. I think that was a good jab at Russell. As I look at Lamar, this guy's become such a good passer. It's so goddamn impressive. I would not be mad at all if Lamar walks out with the MVP trophy. I just think in a vacuum and in a world where let's try to get all these guys their flowers in their careers, Josh Allen at 13-3 to me gets the edge. Let's go Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean, record's a big deal in these arguments, and they should be, because it's the most valuable player. You know, the most valuable player ain't going to be like this is why Joe Burrow's not in the conversation, because obviously he's having an unbelievable year from the quarterback position, but you know, right now we still don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. And then we'll get into that later. But I mean, it's Josh. Josh is like, when you get in the red zone and it's the best player on the field, every time I think Josh. Now with the Ravens, I'm like, who's more dominant in the red zone, Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson? Like, he has that piece. Now, should that take away points from MVP? Probably not, but I'm sorry, that's how my brain works. I'm like, who's more to their team?
Yeah, it's again, we're trying so hard to be nice and respectful to both guys. Argument is like almost ridiculous, where we're like in the same breath, I want to compliment Josh. I'm going back and saying, like, I'll be honest, I did not think Lamar had this as a passer.
No,
like,
I never. This is the most impressed.
Like fucking good, and then like every throw. Like I knew he had a whippy arm. I knew he had a strong arm. He's got fucking every throw, and he's got it from every platform. And his ability just to buy every extra second, get to different spots and throw it. If he can turn his legs on this year, it could be the Ravens' year. It really could. In years past, I feel like his legs have let him down in the postseason. A couple of years where the Ravens have been good and probably had a roster to do. He's also been injured. But this is as impressive as Lamar's ever been. Now, the defense isn't the same thing they've been for Baltimore in years past, but this is as good as Lamar's ever been. And we're starting to talk about, I mean, if we can just take just a breath here for a second and look at Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, Burrow, those four guys. I mean, are those the four the best to ever do it? I mean, fuck.
So, and like, remember when we shifted from the generations, like when we were losing he was last, Manning, Brady, Favre, like all the great quarterbacks from years past, everyone's like, who's it going to be now? Who's it going to be now? We are in great hands, Jack. These quarterbacks are unbelievable in their own special way.
And let me take a stab at trying to create a difference here, but I think greatness always exists within its context, right? Let's not try to put Larry Bird in today's NBA and try to have that debate, because it's just a completely different context. So his greatness is relative to the context in which he played. I think people were probably nervous leaving that era of Elway and Aikman and Marino and Steve Young. But then immediately we get gifted the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees era. Throw Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning and Ben Roethlisberger on that list as well.
Oh, yeah.
And now all of a sudden, these four guys, I mean, holy smokes. Now, I say that. I hope this is just how it goes, and we're in this little blip, and we're on our way to the following four guys in a couple of years, because this is a weird year for college football quarterbacks. Whoever's going to have to draft Shedeur Sanders with a top 5 pick, God help you. God help you. Please spend every other pick on an offensive line.
I was going to say, I was like, how did you see that Colorado Bowl game? Were you impressed?
I mean, here's the bummer for Shedeur Sanders is his mobility. Where do you it ranks so low in the NFL. If he doesn't have a clean pocket, he's got zero chance to be successful.
None.
Like Jared Goff is the only true immobile quarterback right now in the NFL, and he plays behind the NFL's best offensive line. That's why it works.
Yeah.
Take a guy like Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders who doesn't run very well. That starts to look like shit. That starts to look real bad. Spencer Rattler for the Saints. That's the kind of fucking wheels Shedeur has, to be clear. I mean, we did the numbers on him when we were going quarterback to quarterback comparison. And a lot of this is, him taking sacks, avoiding hits, stuff like that. Or not sack yardages, but stepping out kind of on late scrambles or a broken plays situation. But the guy had negative 90 yards rushing this season. It's really hard to do. On like 80 carries. It's really hard to do that. And knees, all that stuff, a ton of negative yards that should go against that. But still, like the guy, no first downs with his feet.
That's absurd, Jack. That's absurd. Negative 90 yards, and you're the best quarterback in the country.
Yeah. So now freak arm talent. The touchdown he throws to Travis Hunter as he's going right and just flicks that ball and hits it on the money. Like that's an all-world throw. That's an NFL throw. That's what you see from Mahomes that everyone's kind of chasing after, that gets mesmerized by. That's what Zach Wilson threw in a pro day that fooled all of us, that gets him drafted number 2 overall. That's freaky. And I think he's more cerebral than he's given credit. Like he's sorting shit out. And I think he does a great job marrying his feet and going through some stuff. But if you're the Giants, right, he wears the red cleats in that game, the red and blue cleats to signify like the Giants are going to be the ones to draft him or whatever. And you can't go higher than number 1.
What was that? I don't know what that move was, but you keep going.
Giants, Raiders, both those O-lines, anybody in the top 5 is going to be drafting does not have an O-line to support this. We watched what happened with the Caleb Williams that we thought was like the heir incumbent to Patrick Mahomes, was the next for sure lock. Look what he's doing with this offensive line. And I think Shedeur is actually probably better processor than Caleb. I'll give him that credit. But his e-mobility is a fucking problem. It's a problem for when he goes to the next level.
Yeah, no, he can't move, Jack. He's just not, and it's really, really bizarre that he's a Sanders and has that like much cement in his feet. He doesn't move that well.
Yeah, it's problematic.
There's problems going into the NFL draft. Oh,
especially just because.
Wait,
it's the Kenny Pickett draft. You don't. There's what's that?
Wait, you stopped. It's like lagging. Hold on. You here? Oh, you're here. You're good. You're good. I can hear you now.
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. But it's like it's that Kenny Pickett draft where there's not really a great first-round quarterback out here. So, what do? He's the best quarterback available. Let's take him 17 or whatever they took. The Steelers took him at. And then you're foisting him and you're in quarterback hell for a couple seasons. Now it's working out with Russell Wilson. Congrats. But even this isn't a Super Bowl thing, I don't think.
Yeah, no, the Steelers are weird. Steelers are like they're not a Super Bowl. They're not a Super Bowl.
They're stuck in mediocrity. They're desperate for a quarterback. So many of these franchises you just hurt so bad for because you can't play this game without a quarterback, and some have just never had one.
Yeah.
The Bears have never had a quarterback.
Never.
Like
Steelers, brutal. They had Big Ben. Big Ben was a baller. But the later years of Big Ben, long that was dragged out. I was like, dude, you should have retired 3 seasons sooner.
On the tail end, but they did get 2 Super Bowls off Big Ben.
Oh yeah, no, Big Ben's legend.
You get the guy.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, but when you go to, what do you think about the end of successful quarterback careers that are like long tenure? Do you agree with just riding it out till the day they say bye, or are you a guy that thinks ship them off? You had a good career, go do it somewhere else. I'm trying to win every season.
And his arm talent was always there. He had some of the escapability, but at a certain point, if you just heated it up on him, he literally had no ability to get the fucking ball out. And he was so immobile.
And he's like standing up straight.
And the worst thing that ever happened was side by side while he was doing that was Tom Brady was continuing to look great. And Roethlisberger's yards were great because they were playing from behind constantly. And he still had Antonio Brown, all these other pieces around him. That was a disaster. That was a disaster.
The end of Big Ben is honestly not great.
The draft of Mason Rudolph. He's saying he refused to talk to Mason Rudolph because he was rooting against him. Why was he helping out the next? It was bad stuff. But Mike Tomlin's never not gone to the playoffs. So what the hell?
Yeah, never had a losing season. Good for him. Good for him. All right,
let's get the hell away from the NFL.
Yep.
Let's go to college football, baby.
Run college football. Lead us off. Fiesta Bowl.
I go 1-3 in those picks last week. I apologize, team. I'm going to do better here, and I'm going to start with a big swing and a miss. You're not going to get me scared from the big lines. You're not going to get me to go chasing here. Okay, Boise State's getting 11 points versus Penn State. Okay, James Franklin, by the way, is 26-1 all time against the spread in games. He's favored by more than 7 points. Okay, James Franklin. The knock on him is his inability to win big games against teams that they're evenly matched or slightly worse than, to go out and steal a game in the big spot. This is what everyone told me going into SMU. And sure enough, they beat the absolute shit out of SMU, and it was a huge bummer to watch. Now, I think Kevin Jennings throws the touchdown on that opening drive. It's a different day, but I digress. Boise State catching 11. I am going to have fun with this, Lance. Boise State, since January 1st, 2007, is 3-0 in the Fiesta Bowl, which includes the game against Adrian Peterson's Oklahoma team, which was the greatest game ever, where they turned every trick. They had the hook and ladder. They had the pitch pass to send it to the 2-point conversion. Then the Ian Johnson Statue of Liberty, one of the great games of my lifetime. I was in Arizona for it, not at the game, but in Arizona at Dick and Jane's house, Lance, watching that, going absolutely nuts. Okay, so I think Boise State, if they can just get started, you're going to feel it in the building. You're going to feel it with that crowd. And they actually match up pretty decently against Penn State. Remember, this is the Boise State team that just got beat by 3 at Oregon earlier this year. The defense can hang in there, and make them earn it. If you can avoid any of the big shot plays, any 4-play drives, any 60-yard plays that turn into touchdowns, any of that stuff, you can hang in there and make them earn it. And I think they can be pretty stout against their red zone offense, in particular what Penn State's going to do with Tyler Warren and the Wildcat stuff. You go back and watch the SMU game, Lance, against Penn State. Kevin Jennings throws 2 picks.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Kevin Jennings, yeah.
Wait. You're back. Wait, talk.
Good.
Can you hear? No, you're good. It just cuts out. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Getting blasted with calls today. But Kevin Jennings throws 2 pick sixes in that game, right? And up scoring 38. So the SMU defense in a game that was out of reach early only gives up 24 points that game. That's a winning recipe that if you can just avoid turning the ball over, that you can actually go out and beat these guys with, and especially you can cover the 11. So I think it's interesting. And I'll tell you this, SMU could not win on first and second down. They could not get to 3rd and 2 ever. If Ginty and this great Boise State O-line can get you into 3rd and manageable, it takes Abdul Carter and that great Penn State rush out of this game, because they can't go green light thinking pass rush the whole way. They have to play run support as well. So if they can just get into 3rd and 4 or better consistently, this is a hell of a spot for Boise State to hang in there and do something. Now, I will say this, Drew Aller, I was a guy that is shit all over that guy. He has been really good on 3rd and 4th down all year. He's made just about every big throw he's had to make, with the exception of one drive against Ohio State. So that's the question for Boise State, is can you just get off the field on 3rd and 4th down? Because Penn State has no problem going for it on 4th down. They have the best 4th down percentage of anyone else in the country.
Dude, I mean, well said. The 3rd and 4th down, Drew Aller this year has been incredible. Like I've seen it in person. I've seen it on TV. The guy just hits big throws. But yeah, no, my thoughts on the Boise State, Penn State. It's funny, I read our notes wrong. All right, but Penn State, I mean, they got ballers on both sides of the ball. Like they have absolutely incredible playmakers. I mean, you said Abdul Carter. I think the running back Singleton, that kid, he's a beast. I mean, Warren, of course. But this all comes down because, like, how we talked about the SMU game, like, we had a great narrative, like, thought process going into it, and it just opens up 2 pick sixes. We're cooked. That's tough. So if Boise State can, like, maintain possession, Ashton Jeanty can continue being a freak, keep the momentum going, and most importantly, like, not give up stupid field position battle losses. Obviously, like the other game, like, take care of the football, no crucial turnovers. They have a real shot. They have a real shot to be dangerous. But my butt in that is Penn State's damn good. They are really good, Jack. They're really good.
They can run the shit out of the football, it would appear. They and defensively, if they can get up and you have to throw against them, good luck blocking Abdul Carter. I don't know that there's a tackle in the country that can do it. That guy's a fucking freak.
I mean, he'll be that good on Sundays. So yeah. I don't expect that out of a college tackle.
Protection-wise and all that. I mean, Clemson gave SMU a little bit of trouble early, but honestly, not that much. This was interesting to watch Penn State absolutely go get after SMU in that front. Now, a lot of that was SMU gets out of their game plan early and that sort of stuff. The path to beating this Penn State team, I wouldn't look to that Oregon game. I would look to the Ohio State game. They beat them like 2017 in Happy Valley. That's the recipe for Boise State here, is make them earn it, flip the field, don't give up any short fields, make them drive at 80, 75 every time if they're going to score, hold up for some field goals. Maybe they're willing to go for it on 4th down, a key 4th and goal stop, something like that, which are as good as turnovers, by the way, Lance. So you win the turnover battle. I genuinely think it's a possibility they hang in there. I worry about the quarterback play late, and I worry about Aller with the ball, the chance to win late. But I do think 11's quite a bit. I like Boise to cover. I worry about the win.
Hey, well, James Morris just came flying in out of nowhere in the chat, says, give me Boise, money line, GT for 260. Jack is wearing the correct quarter zip today, so...
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Appreciate that love, James.
Come on, James. Come on. But
are we on to the next one?
No, not yet, because I'm still like, this is tough, Jack, because, yeah, no, you're right.
What bet are you
I just don't want if it turns into a turnover game, the Boise State quarterback is miserable and Penn State walks away with another free win like it felt like they got with SMU, I'm gonna be upset. Because leading into our next game, oh no, it's the game after. We can talk about this game, but Oregon, Ohio State, that's the next game we're talking about. And what I want to bring up right now, I'm like, dude, the format of these playoffs is cooked. It is not great.
You're not loving the 12-team playoff?
I'm not loving this, how everything seeds together. I'm like, Oregon, Ohio State. This is
at the Rose Bowl. This is the national championship.
This is the national. This feels like
yeah.
the national championship. That's the problem.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And that's what I don't
put down in our notes right there, just like what a game. Yeah, no, I mean we were onto this early after the championship week, where the format we're dealing with here is a little bit bizarre because that wasn't a play-in deal. We had teams that lost that week that played the following week. We had teams that lost that week that hosted games last week. And now we're getting these awkward bowl games. We've had a couple really good ones, a couple big-time blowouts. BYU Colorado blowout, a couple of these big-time blowouts. And we've left a lot of great games and matchups on the shelf in an effort to get to the expanded playoff games. Like, I'm seeing an Outback Bowl 10 years ago between Ole Miss and that BYU team. That would have been awesome, you know?
Yeah.
I'm seeing SMU playing who would be a good matchup for SMU? Who can the Ponies play? Arizona State.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That would have been fun. That would have been really good.
You know, Penn State, Alabama. Let's get that game on the books.
Yeah.
A lot of great games we missed the opportunity to see in an effort to get this playoff going. I think the playoff's fine. I think here are the wrinkles you got to get fixed. Number one, the seeding's fucked up. Making the conference championships automatically go to the 1 through 4. I recognize you had to make deals when you were putting this whole thing together, and conferences had to sign off on that. And the ACC and the Big 12 were sick of getting bullied out of, the 4-man playoff. And so there you go. You end up with that format. But obviously that's problematic. We can't have Ohio State shouldn't be where they are. They shouldn't be playing Oregon this week. Trouble all over the field. Boise State and Arizona State shouldn't have gotten buys. They should have been playing last week. Penn State probably should have been passed. Notre Dame should have been passed. Teams like this. So it's interesting in hindsight. I'll say this too. We went through in depth earlier episode, Lance, and we could do this again, where we went through what the next model of college football ought to look like. And it's a little bit more of an NFL junior doing 8-team divisions, eight-team divisions. So here was my idea for postseason play. One, with that format, we go to a 16-team playoff, but the seeding works out pretty good in terms of that. We do more home games, less reason to travel for everybody. I'm a guy that went to Charlotte. I was trying to go to Happy Valley. I would have been going to Phoenix, and then I would have had 2 more weeks to go, say there was a miracle season of brewing. So a lot of travel on this. I think you get the right to host home games. And then I think when we get to a bowl game slate, and all this, by the way, should be done this weekend. It should all be done by January 1st. But here's what the bowl games become. You get the playoffs. Everyone who makes the playoffs gets a bye. That week of the bye, we get all the promotion and relegation games. That's what our bowl games are.
Wait, wait a minute. That's actually good. I actually really like that a lot.
Yes. So you get they're shit games, but there are no opt-outs. There's no transfer portal open yet, and you are playing to keep your team in Division I football. Let's get it on.
That's pretty good.
And then vice versa. Mm-hmm. It's the promotion games. So it's your great group of 5 games where you're getting Tulane versus Army and winners going to the fucking Division I football next year.
Dude, that could be actually really... Dude, they have an opportunity to do some great things with college football if they can just, open their minds and not... Because...
Well, it's amazing who holds the power right now, because you'd think it'd be the universities, but it's the conferences. And who's going to do what in this, and these guys won't have conversations outside of the conferences. So right now, Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, to me is the chief shot caller, whereas we just need to say, and Greg Sankey can be the commissioner of college football. I'm good with that. But the universities basically need to go say, hey, college football doesn't make sense in the rest of college athletics model. We need to go be our own independent entity outside the purview of the NCAA and come up with our own model where we can come up with a rev sharing deal, a transfer portal calendar, a national curriculum so that these kids that go to 4 different colleges at the end of the year can have a legitimate degree. Several things to get figured out. An off season for coaches and players. We probably can do away with spring football. I mean, thousands of things we got to get fixed. And all of it is just getting pieced together with duct tape right now to serve the TV model. But the TV model would benefit if you just go fix all this stuff.
You're 100% right. It's like they got bullet holes and they're using duct tape to try to fix it, and it's just becoming a shit show. I mean, dude, yeah, Oregon, Ohio State's the national championship. Every time I look at this game, I'm genuinely, I don't know what to think, because dude, that Ohio State team that just whooped Tennessee, that looked like a legit team. That looked like a team that could beat anybody in the country.
Well, that's the question. The Ohio State team that got beat by Oregon but was driving and fucks up the last drive. They were in field goal range, the chance to win that game and fuck up the clock situation, ended up losing. But the Ohio State team that was getting ready to beat Oregon on the road in Autzen and then just beat the shit out of Tennessee. If we get that Ohio State team, we got a game here. If we get anything short of that, Oregon's going to win this game by 2 scores.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you, but dude, I'm telling you, Ohio State, like, it's hard. I mean, you know better than anyone. It's hard to beat a team twice.
It's damn hard to beat a team twice, I will say. That's why it's such a rigged job against Oregon.
I know.
Been the 1 seed this entire year, and now they go into this game underdogs as the 1 seed. That's impossible.
This doesn't even make sense.
And I'll say this, the line not making sense scares me. It makes me want to take Ohio State. But I've watched the games. I've seen it. Oregon's been the team all year. The one concern I have, the one narrative that I think bodes well for Ohio State is the Oregon D-line, though athletic as shit and damn good pass rushers, hasn't been exceptional stopping the run. So if they have to commit more resources inside to stopping the run to force a pass, well, the weapons on the outside for Ohio State, if you can get predictable matchups and a lot of man opportunities, now all of a sudden you have an Ohio State team that's going to score in the middle 30s. Can you keep up Oregon against a really good Ohio State defense that's going to go play their fucking ass off?
Dude, I mean, remember, Ohio State is literally an offensive PI and a fucking Will Howard blunder away from beating Oregon and being the best team in this country, and everyone's at their, like, bowing to them. Everyone's bowing to them if they win that game. And so it's like that performance against Tennessee scares me. It scares me because that was an ass whooping. That was an
ass whooping. And if you go through Tennessee's schedule, Tennessee was not a slouch team.
No,
Tennessee was not bad.
Not at all.
But I just never know. Is it a bunch of preconceived notions? Is it just the big I don't know. Like, dude, I'll tell you that Penn State defense. SMU's offense was legit. It was top 10 in the country in terms of points a game. And they end up with 13 in the game or whatever it is. But
13-38.
It was a garbage 7. I mean, it could have been 3. SMU gets the red zone like 3 times in the first half. One was a pick 6. One was a pick. The other was a turnover on downs. Like it was like a master class. Now, And Oregon went and put 40 something up on them, and that game was never in question. Like, Oregon physically is the best team in the country. Like these Georgia teams and Alabama teams of years past, where it's just been like, well, fuck, who's beating them? Like, it's going to take an exceptional quarterback effort. And Will Howard looked like that guy for 7 quarters this year. 4 of them are the most recent ones.
Yeah.
3 of them came kind of sporadically against that. I didn't see that offense ever against Penn State from Ohio State.
No, not at all. I'm so confused. I'm like, is Chip Kelly holding back plays? Is he holding back plays, getting ready for the playoff push? He doesn't want film out there or something. It makes something sound right in my head because it doesn't make sense. That was like 2 completely different rosters. If you were to look at Ohio State versus Penn State, Ohio State versus Tennessee.
Both sides of the ball, too. I knew Ohio State's defense was that good. The Ohio State offense, though, it's interesting. And maybe, we got to go back and look at the Tennessee defense, maybe some of that cold weather. I don't know. I don't know. But
I don't know.
That was a little wild to me. I was the guy that was Ohio State early just because the line was funny. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, fuck that. I'm taking Tennessee. They might even win this game. Nico looked like shit the whole game. I mean, and physically dominated them. physically dominated them. Another interesting plot line to follow for remaining bowl games. Big Ten's been playing their ass off.
Big Ten and SEC.
Who's getting their ass kicked? Ofer currently against the spread, the ACC.
I've noticed that one. There was a couple that my buddies, they send the text. They're like, "Who is it? I want no research at all. Just tell me who it is." And I've just been shying away from, honestly, both Big 12 and ACC. If they're playing SEC or Big 10, I take that matchup, and that's the trend I've been following. Been doing all right,
100%.
but
all right, I got an easy one to go through here.
Yeah,
I think Texas minus 13 is the easiest one of the week.
Yeah, it's tough. We saw it against Clemson, dude. Texas is just bigger, faster, stronger.
To try to make a case for Arizona State, I will say they, at least in the context of this all, they feel like amongst the hottest teams in college football.
Yeah.
They're one of the few teams coming into this week genuinely hot. Texas is, they just beat Clemson, but they lost in the SEC championship. Okay, Georgia won the SEC championship after they almost choked away the playoff by getting beat by Georgia Tech, almost. Go to 7 overtimes and win that game. Penn State loses Big Ten championship. Oregon's been hot all year, but it is what it is. Ohio State coming in off the Michigan loss. There's not a lot of hot teams in this thing. Arizona State truly has rattled off 8 in a row and are playing their best football of the season. It's impressive as hell. So that's the case you could make for them, but you're just deluding yourself. It's a lie. When you watch that Texas versus Clemson game, and I thought Clemson physically was hanging in there with anybody across the country, because I think they're not a transfer portal school, but their recruiting classes are still top 5. Top 10.
So did I. I was on the same boat as you.
Yeah. So I was body wise, but guys I didn't even think were great for Texas looked the kid Blue, the running back. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
And he's just great. Just running around, just phew.
Oh, just phew. Their defense is damn good. Our boy Klubnik actually played decent.
Yeah. He had the better, he technically had the better game, I'd say, from the quarterback position.
Yeah. So, and then too, the ultimate kicker here, because I'm not a believer in the Arizona State quarterback. He sounded like the Colorado State quarterback getting ready to get his ass kicked against Colorado earlier this week, where he was like, I'm excited to show I'm the better quarterback in this game. You're the 9th plot line in this game, dude.
Yeah.
And then Scattaboo, fucking what a season. I would love to see him get off in this game and let's go have fun. But this Texas front is so goddamn big and physical and fast. There's just no way. Cam Scattaboo has 100 yards in this game. And that's the story. And ASU hangs in. This is Texas by 14 plus. This is Texas.
No, 100%, Jack. I wouldn't be surprised if first play of the game, it's a screen or swing pass or something, and that player just gets absolutely blown to smithereens, just blown up on the play, and then you're like, oh shit, we know what this game's gonna be.
I can even see ASU have a great first drive,
No.
go down for a field goal. I really could. I could see Cam Scattaboo have 30 yards and then go down for a field goal on the opening drive. Texas is gonna settle in against these guys.
Yeah.
They're going to settle in. They're not going to be able to run the ball. And Texas's offense is going to score.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, how much can you really run with Scattaboo when you're down 21 anyway?
No, you can't. And that's another thing you're bringing up. And I know I'm fully changing topics back to that. It was talking about the Aller. But you were saying if it's late game, Gene T is only so good until, it's time to throw the ball. So it's I don't know.
You stay within 2 scores, you're good.
Stay
within 2 scores, you're good. Which, by the way, that's the kind of mark I think they will. I think that's the it's kind of been. I think Joel Klatt kind of had this take all week. Hard to go play 2 great games in a row. Someone is going to be a little clunky coming into this thing. It would be interesting to see who gets it. I really hope we get 4 great games. I think the stinker is the Texas game. I think they beat the fuck out of ASU. I think that's just the way that goes.
Hey, James Morris, ASU stomped Iowa State. Give me the Sun Devils as yours. It has one of the historically worst choke performances of all time, the annihilation in Atlanta. 40-23 ASU wins. James, you're firing today, man. You're firing.
Dude,
and if you're
fair take. Iowa State just looked pretty good against Miami. Fair take. Now, if Cam Ward plays the second half, Miami wins.
Did you see that? Did you see that play from him? The one where he stood flat-footed.
The guy is Mr. Smith. He's awesome. I take him before Shador, by the way. If you don't have the Lions offensive line ready to go, Cam Ward me up all day.
No, and that's 100% right. And I'm sorry, I fully took us completely off topic, but I think Texas steamrolls, James. I'm sorry. I think that's the play. I love it. Like, I'd love to see ASU fight. Everyone would. No one's like, unless you're my buddy Bryce from U of A, he roots against ASU. But if you're not a Wildcat, but quite literally, most people in this country will be rooting for ASU. It feels like, maybe the Texas fandom, but you know what I mean. Like, it's the feel good story. I want ASU to do good. I want Scatterbo, but I'm sorry. I saw Texas play Clemson, and they just beat the shit out of them. So I think it's
brutal.
I think it's brutal, but I think it's Texas all day.
It's Texas.
You're right. Yeah.
It's Texas. They might even do it in the first half.
So this one is also super tough, Jack. This is a tough one for me.
This one's the hardest one. This one's the hardest one.
I agree. I agree. Notre Dame, Georgia.
I'm saying Notre Dame, and
wow,
the spreads got me thinking maybe I'm an idiot. Because why the hell wouldn't this start on the Notre Dame side? We got Gunnar Stockton playing for Georgia.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've flip-flopped on it quite a bit because I didn't think Riley Leonard looked good against Indiana. I mean, you take away a 98-yard run Notre Dame has in the first half, all of a sudden that game is kind of hanging in there.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame gets the pick, and then next play later goes 98 on a run. Riley Leonard, especially when the pass rush got to him, looked shitty. And offensively, scheme-wise, they didn't look like they were scheming up anything in the pass game to help them. So Riley Leonard versus Georgia defense is the only thing that makes me nervous. But far more concerning than that is Gunnar Stockton versus Notre Dame defense. And Georgia's O-line this year has not been this all-world. We're getting 3 guys drafted in the first round. So that all being equal, I think Notre Dame's defense is going to give these guys fucking tons of problems. I'm seeing 2 picks plus from Gunnar Stockton. And so Riley Leonard, just don't make us all look like assholes. If you can just be a game manager, we got to hit a couple big time third downs occasionally. But for the most part, all you got to do is flip the field, not turn the ball over, and let the defense give you a short field. We're going to make field goals. We'll break a run. That's how you win this game. When it's like 17-6, call it a day.
Dude, it's tough. It's tough because I've just seen Notre Dame in the past, and I know it's years ago, but when Brian Kelly used to bring these guys out against like a Saban or someone in the playoffs and just get the fucking piss beat out of them, just not even close. So those matchups in the past are what scare me in this one, and why I kind of lean Georgia. I haven't really made a decision yet because these games are tough. I feel like it's tough, but I'm inching towards honestly Georgia. Because I think they've been almost underrated because of how shitty Carson Beck was in some of these games. So they've been hanging around with teams that they should be steamrolling, like the Georgia Tech game.
Right.
But it's like, I don't know. Was Carson Beck in because you were already paying him too much money? Is the Stockton kid, can he play catch? Like,
I'll say this though, dude. So far, Big Ten versus SEC advantage Big Ten.
Yeah.
Like this year, I think the transfer portal has gotten some of this D-line stuff figured out, and it's balanced the scale a little bit. The SEC for years just had a monopoly on the defensive front. Those Saban defensive fronts is like, well, what do you do? But so far, I mean, Ohio State manhandled Tennessee. Iowa, I don't know if they ended up hanging on in that game, but was hanging in there with Missouri. Missouri was ranked all year. Iowa was dog shit. It's the worst Iowa team they've had in years. SC beats Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So SC beat LSU earlier in the year. I just don't see the physical
dominance,
just varsity JV matchup here with SEC versus Big Ten. And if that's all being equal, then I think we've got a better, more complete team. And I've got Riley Leonard with however many career starts versus Gunnar Henderson making his first.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I'm just saying, it's like PTSD or something in the back of my brain, just seeing Notre Dame get fucking throttled every time in the postseason.
Yeah. Now this game is getting played in Atlanta, Lance.
That I Notre Dame will probably travel well.
Notre Dame's going to travel well. It's just like, fuck, does Georgia know about winning in that building?
Yeah. It's James Morris, he hops in. The Dogs are the lock of the century. Kirby Smart with 3 weeks to prepare for overrated Notre Dame. Dogs 27, Notre Dame 16.
The line says to do that, James. So I don't know. I'm going to put it on the Discord. Where
he said it's in NOLA.
Oh, are they Sugar Bowl? Are they not Peach Bowl?
Oh yeah, it's Sugar Bowl, Peach Bowl next.
Oh, I'm fucked up. Okay, Sugar Bowl.
But I mean, that's still the South. It's not too far.
No, different though. Very different situation.
Different.
I had that fucked up. That's a shame. Yeah, top to bottom. I'm going Boise State plus the 11. I don't trust the money line. I don't think it's miracle ball. I just think they've got a strategy that can hang in there. And I think you just can't do what SMU did. You can't go throw 2 fucking pick sixes and be down 14-0 when your defense is pitching a shutout. There's no way to win a game that way. It's fucking absurd watching that game. I think Boise State's got the run offense to keep Abdul Carter out of that game. And I think for the most part, as long as you make Penn State earn it, you can hang in there against that offense. So 11 feels like a lot if they can just do the right things and have a good game plan and execute it. Going to Boise State, then Texas is the easiest one on the board. Thank God. We're going to have to load up there because the other ones, I like Oregon. I like them a lot, but boy, is that going to be a great game. Who's going to have the ball last? And then I'm going with Notre Dame today. Tomorrow, I'm not so sure. I might hit the Discord page. James is making good points.
No, yeah, shout out James. He's making great points. But I'm stuck with the Boise State Penn State. Because it's like, dude, I could just see like another Penn State just comes in and whoops ass, something chaos in the beginning, and it's never a game.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, but then you're right. You've made great points, though. The Boise State does have what you would think, would match up decently against Penn State. Like you said, they play
Boise State and Fiesta Bowl. Boise State and Fiesta Bowl.
You're right. I love that. That's all. That's the tipping point.
Let's go be a little bit more romantic about it, Lance. Boise State's the only group of 5 team, the only small guy that deserved a chance in this first expanded playoff. They've been held out of the door. They've never had a chance to win a national championship ever. And they've had teams that were good enough to do it. And now they finally get to stand on the stage with everybody else and get a chance. And it's at the fucking Fiesta Bowl. I don't know, man. I think they keep it close.
I'm fired up
right
now.
The quarterback play to do it late, and Drew Aller has been very fucking good on 3rd and 4th down.
But we also know Drew Aller, like, did he look that great in the SMU game?
No, on 1st and 2nd down, but he looked fucking great on 3rd and 4th down.
That's true. It's unbelievable. I don't know. Give me Boise State. I'm with you.
Down, the guy was a fucking dog.
I'm with you. I like Boise State. Come on. Plus 11. I'm not asking them to win. I'm asking them to hang in there and fight.
Hang in there.
Hang in there and fight.
We're not going 4 straight covers on the favorites. I can't believe Oregon's catching points.
Dude,
that's going to be my hammer. I believe in Oregon. Notre Dame is the one we'll fucking see. Maybe I go live. Maybe that's a live bet.
Yeah, so I got Boise. I'm with you. Boise State plus 11. Texas minus 13. I'm supposed to be an Oregon fan, Jack, but I don't know where I'm going in that game. I still got to think about that one. I got an Oregon hat on right now, and woo! I mean, hey, if they win, I'll be in Dallas. I'll be at the Cotton Bowl. I'll be there.
There you go.
But
I'll be dialed in Dallas. That's my town, baby.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think I'm staying Georgia. I'm gonna be honest. That's the one I think we've parted ways for now. But hopefully you wake up tomorrow and you're like, you know what? Maybe Georgia is right.
You're a SEC homer and a coward, and that's no other ways about it,
dude. Oh man, too good. All right, my friend.
Is that our show?
I think that's our show.
Well, It was brought to you by Wanna Parlay, the good folks over there. It was fun making it with you, Lance. Want to go back through those shout outs really quick because we had some guys that are worth we got to bring up. Great getting Jack Martin on the show today to talk about his $2,000 won in the main event this last weekend. Jack Martin's now up over 3,000 on the page, making good money. Won a little money on the Trojans over the holiday break as well. It's good to be Jack flexing. Go check out that account. A couple other people worth talking about here. Snipe King and Don D, 333, both made $777 in the pick 7. Long Legs came in second place, and that went home with 700. Tough to win a 7-leg parlay. I get it, but that's a hell of a payout, folks, for $2, $777. One Mad Raider wins 250 in the pick 5. Negan 65 wins 200 in the pick 4. Parlay Royale, people dial picks, wins another $1,000. That takes him up over 20K, people. He's been on this fucking thing for 2 months. He's up $20,000. It's a fucking blown up, Lance.
Someone's blowing your phone out, but fucking lock in is what he's saying. Lock in 2 months. Yeah, you're back.
And then hopefully we get Oso Rated R on for the Thursday show. He's going to be down there in Chicago enjoying the spoils of being the VIP contest winner, going to the NHL Winter Classic at the Wanna Suite in Wrigleyville, all expenses paid, travel, hotel, game tickets, food, beverage, New Year's Eve, Little Joe's, Kevin Glywa. We're having fun. So big congrats to Oso Rated R, taking home that big time prize. And keep your eyes and ears open because the VIP contest will be back on the books here in the coming weeks after this gets over. Do not miss out. They're just getting bigger and better.
Well said. Well said.
I got a feeling
folks,
a playoff game is coming. I got a feeling a playoff game is going to get put on there. All AFC action goes through Kansas City. I got a feeling a playoff game is going to get auctioned off. It's just the murmur mill.
No, I'm messing with you. All right. Hey, appreciate everyone tuning in. James Morris, you're an absolute legend. Shout out you because you were the most active in the chat today. We'll be back Thursday, sadly. We'll be back and we'll be down and we'll recap the games and we'll talk about it. We'll see if we're either the biggest idiots ever or the biggest geniuses ever.
New Year's Eve, we have homes, families.
It's tough. But appreciate you all joining in. Till next time, see you Thursday. See ya.